Where'd we leave off last time?
Midway through 4. Jesus could have been Buddha, which then that works.
Makes a lot of sense. Okay, so if you came from the last video, we did at Genesis 1 through 5. It's picking up now. 1 through 4. Okay, we're gonna pick up 5 through whatever we get to today.
Because we left off talking about Cain. So I wanted to just throw something. I looked into that last bit that we were talking about of Cain. They have no idea what the mark is.
Nobody has any idea?
They don't even speculate. They have nothing to offer on the good website.
Because that's where Charles says they took his blackness away.
Well, I think he says that because white people used to say that the mark was making someone black. So I think people really steer away from that.
Oh, really? So that's not even in the cards anymore.
I think people really move away from...
What's an old Hebe say?
Well, I didn't... that's what I'm saying. Usually they have, like, old rabbis decided that the Bible meant this. This was their interpretation. They usually offer something like that up. And for this one, they were really like, we don't know.
Yeah.
It literally says what we were saying. It's like it was something that would have let someone know, don't fuck with him because God wants him to keep living.
Yeah. For the clip. Don't want to get any angry people. The Bible's very bipartisan.
I mean, technically, though, that would be the right side. I mean,
leave it on then.
You can do whatever you want.
The full episode's good. Watch it. 114, 15.
Yeah. So Cain's great-great-great-grandson, Lamech, told a story. He comes in, and he has 2 wives, sick.
Super sick.
Comes in, he goes, both of yous, come here, listen to me. Some guy hit me, right? I killed him.
Where is this at? This is Genesis what, 4?
423, 424.
Okay.
You can, yeah. I love this website, how it's set up.
It's great. This is Bible Ref.
Tremendous resource. So the explanation they have on this is that, because remember what God said to Cain? He was like, the mark I left on you will let someone know that the badness I've done to you, a.k.a. not letting your crops grow and making you a fugitive in the land.
Yeah.
He will do that 7 times worse to whoever kills Cain. That's what this mark is letting people know.
Yeah.
So Lamech, the guy who just came in and was like, this guy hit me, I killed him. He's taking what was said to Cain and assuming it onto himself, even though he's 4 generations removed now.
Yeah. From Cain.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's like he's either misunderstanding the nature of God, misunderstanding that God did it for Cain and not his line, or just bragging about doing bad shit.
Yeah.
Because, God, this is like an example of why God's going to cleanse the earth and leave only Noah of that line. This is the example of, like, the bad shit that's happening. Guy's got 2 wives, fucking...
Yeah, guy's out there.
And thinks that he's allowed to kill someone because he and who knows why he got hit in the first place.
Is this the second murder now? Because Cain kills Abel.
Second one that's said in the Bible. Who knows?
Oh, who knows how many more? There's probably plenty more. But
I saw a very good, quick breakdown on Adam and Eve's kids. So Adam and Eve have Cain, Abel, then Seth. Mm-hmm. After Seth is born, the Bible says that Adam and Eve had sons and daughters. So that's at least 2 sons, 2 daughters.
Yes.
So that means that there was at least 7 children of Adam and Eve. And then the guy went on to say how, like, if you calculate how long Eve lives for, if she lives as long as Adam, and she has a normal 9-month birth rate, and let's just say it was constant, it got up to like 1,100 or something. So it's 7 to 1,100. That's how many people
extra people out of this line.
Yeah, and obviously then they could be having kids and stuff.
Yeah.
So then 425, Adam and Eve had another son named Seth. Eve said that God had given her a replacement child for Abel after Cain killed him. And it's like, why? Why say that? Because you're going to have more kids.
Yeah. Is it because Seth...
Why do those people not matter?
Is it because Seth is going to be carrying the line, like the holy line?
But then why was Abel carrying the line as the second-born?
Because who's the firstborn?
Cain.
Well, Cain kills Abel. He gets his... So he can't...
But God favored Abel already. That's why Cain killed him. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Oh, so...
They couldn't... Why was Abel the one that was going to be good? Why did he need replacing?
Yeah.
Because they have more kids anyway, and it's like, it's not like just the next one up would have been the good one. It's like they had Seth because God said, Abel got killed. Here's your next one of those.
Yeah.
And then they have other kids. But so is Cain only even named because he kills him? You know what I mean?
Oh, that's interesting. Because maybe all these other kids, other sons and daughters, it's not like they're sitting around not doing anything. They're still working on a farm or doing shit.
Right.
So it's like...
They're not born yet. They're not born till after Seth.
Okay.
That's how the Bible makes it say.
Okay. So yeah, I don't know then. Because I was gonna say then maybe everybody's bringing offerings to God because that's how it is, but Cain was upset. I don't know.
Right in the beginning of Genesis 5, is where it makes it sound like Adam has Seth, and then had other sons and daughters. Okay. Is like how it makes it seem the order.
But Cain is the firstborn.
Cain's the firstborn, and then Abel. But I can't wrap my head around why Abel would be like the important one in need of replacing. And if every other thing in life is the firstborn is the main thing.
Unless Cain is supposed to carry the line.
And then he's fucking up.
Either that or Cain is supposed to be carrying the line, but God starts favoring Abel's...
Could be a classic test.
Crop or something like that. Yeah, maybe like to either test him or it's like...
Abel was bringing him food, too.
Food, yeah. So
Cain
it's
was
like...
bringing crops.
Yeah, so like maybe he's just favoring Abel's stuff because that's just what he wants right now. Cain takes that as, well, what the fuck? I'm the firstborn. I'm doing this shit. Like, this is bullshit. Kills Abel. Therefore, Cain can't carry the holy line because he fucked up.
Yeah.
So now...
He's out. Abel's out. So now you need a new firstborn.
Here's the replacement. Here's the replacement.
So maybe Abel didn't have it. It's just that.
It was just like, hey, thank you. I like this more. He's favoring his stuff.
Cain, but Cain nixed
got
both
jealous.
of them.
Jealousy.
In the act of killing him, he nixed himself also.
Yeah.
So now both out.
Jealousy.
Here's the real seed.
Yeah.
And then other sons and daughters.
Exactly.
Just throwing it out there.
Yeah, so that's all that's early on.
This is the end of 4. Seth is 105 when he has his son Enosh.
Does it then go all the way through to Noah at that point? Or, yeah, this is the Adam to Noah is 5. That's where we pick up at.
When Seth has Enosh, at this time people began to call upon the name of the Lord. It seems like when it says people, it's referring to this line of people. Like, because Enosh would be the first grandkid now. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
now
he's
third in line.
So everyone else has had contact with God. I don't know if Seth had directly, but like God was willing to talk to Cain and Abel. So it would make sense he'd be willing to talk to, the children of Adam and Eve. Enosh, though, being a grandkid, maybe he hasn't had direct contact yet because they lived for so fucking long. So now it's like, it's been gone a minute.
Have you noticed also in the beginning, God's walking around like he's a fucking dude.
But that's what I'm saying. It's such a long time.
It's such a long time. So
he's got to leave or not be as readily available.
Yeah.
Less of them, maybe.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Because how long if we do go back to the Anunnaki myth, how long do the Anunnaki live?
Or how long do they start spreading themselves further? Maybe at first it's the Garden of Eden. All the Anunnaki are there.
Now they're spreading out.
And they just keep saying God for all of them, any of them. So it used to be like, I'm running into God 10 times a day. Now I see him once if I'm over at this part over here, know. It's just interesting that they say the Lamech story is a reference point for where Cain's line of people is at, like doing bad shit, not following God. And then it cuts back to like Enosh, at this time, people are calling on the name of God. So it makes sense by the time you get to Noah, where it's like, yeah, this is the good line of people that have been like following my shit, like worshiping me and whatnot.
This is the holy line.
They're the only people calling upon my name versus Cain, his line, and the rest of the land. That's what's going to get him wiped out for the flood. Because once it gets to the flood part, it seems kind of out of nowhere where he's like, yeah, I got to kill everybody. So it's almost like, no, you got to connect it back to this.
It's also because of the Nephilim coming down.
Which then we think might link into the Noah flood.
The sons of God intermarry the daughters of humans, resulting in the Nephilim. So that's like the Watchers coming down. That's the Book of Enoch stuff.
Yeah.
So that's where that happens. And then that's what That's where we get giants. That's where the giants come in. While we're on the Nephilim stuff, like that's when that's when he says like the flood comes in because everybody's been sinning and all this other stuff happens. But while we're on the line of Adam, I found a chart. The Sumerian kings list lines up with Adam. It's like to a T. So it goes through. You have Adam, Seth, Enosh, Kenan. Yeah, the first one on the kings list.
Mahalal.
I butcher the shit out of
all those, and then Jared.
Yeah, Jared. Yeah, basically, but they all line up for their. But because then we get down to Enoch, number 7. That goes over to. I'm not even gonna.
A sacred number.
I'm not even gonna fuck with the name.
I don't have the king list. I just got the
Enmen Durin Anan. He walks with God. So he goes up, he walks with God. God takes him, but he doesn't. They don't say he dies. God just takes him.
Every other person
and he just
in that
exists in heaven, right?
It says the same pattern and ends with he died.
And it's the exact same thing with Enoch.
Does not have that.
No, and it's the exact same thing with Enoch, as well as the same thing in the King's List, which this is in the Epic of Gilgamesh or the Enuma Elish. I can't remember what this comes from.
Gilgamesh is the flood stuff.
Okay, then yeah, this probably leads into this because then
Enuma Elish is creation.
We get Methuselah, who's lives the longest out of anybody in that line. Lamech, and then we go to Noah, who is
969. Methuselah's topping out at.
Yeah. So she's the oldest out of anybody in that line, I believe.
She
or he. Yeah, Methuselah sounds like a girl's name.
They don't talk about girls in the Bible.
They're not. We're gonna do
unless you gotta let someone know who you fucked, and then after that you don't hear much. I think Sarah's the only one that like gets lines.
Yeah, exactly. But number 10, we end with Noah, and it goes to Zusudera, who's number 10 on the King's list. He is the one who God chooses to live through the flood. So that he knows
the Sumer.
In the Sumerian.
I thought it was Enumpashin or some shit like that.
I got Zusudera.
Sumerian flood.
But the regardless, either if it's this name or that name,
you have Zarathustra.
Yes.
Wonder who.
No, I know who you're thinking of. I've seen that name. Maybe that's
like Imnatupush.
Unless that's like a different translation or a different person. But
but
regardless, if it's this name or that name, this person was the one God chose. Actually, the one Enki came down, and Enki warns this person that, who I believe is Enlil. Enlil's going to bring the flood. He's God in the back then, and then Enki's almost like the devil, the serpent. He's the serpent god.
It's a classic Quetzalcoatl versus
which and that it goes back to the other thing of like Enki's the serpent god. Maybe he's the one going underneath Enlil because he has he cares about the people. When Enlil's more like whatever, like we created these people,
numbers.
Like we're God. Yeah, numbers. Maybe he's the serpent in the book. But then he also warns this person that the flood's coming, and then they build the ark, and it goes into that flood story. But all right, so that's Genesis 5. We get through that shit. That's basically we go through Adam to Noah.
Yeah, it's a lot of just people's ages. The big thing is the Enoch stuff, like we said.
That's interesting why he walks with God. The King's List lining up is interesting because it doesn't line up after that, post-flood.
But also there's not a clear line after Noah. Like they name all his kids. It's not like they name one kid as like, here's the important one. They go, and he had Japheth and Shem and Ham.
Yeah.
So like, where would you follow it from there?
Exactly. Yeah.
As far as a king list.
It starts breaking off. Yeah. That's also when lifespan starts shortening. It's like 120, 160.
120. God shortens it to 120.
Yeah. But they're still living fucking 800. It's slowly, like every generation, it gets lower.
Well, because if you got this fucking...
the holy gene.
Right.
Genesis 6, the wickedness of humanity. Increasing wickedness of humanity is leading to God deciding to bring on judgment, which is the sons of God intermingling with the daughters of humans, resulting in the Nephilim. He wants to destroy all living things in the flood, and he favors Noah. God instructs Noah to build an ark, and the dimensions instructed, which 300 by 50, which is the same size as the thing in the Y-Files video that is allegedly bullshit around Noah's first home. Do you have anything on that? It's kind of straightforward.
Yeah, all the Noah stuff. I feel like the Nephilim, like that passage or whatever. I feel like that's like the thing that gets passed around a lot on like YouTube.
That's
and
the
TikTok
most.
And stuff.
Yeah, that's
like, people kind of get that one.
We understand.
Now.
That,
yeah, I don't know how much we gotta like.
No, dive into that.
Yeah,
Book of Enoch shit.
A bunch of the Noah stuff is like kind of pretty to read, where he's like letting a dove fly.
Yeah,
out
that goes into like chapter 7, the flood. This is when the flood narrative begins. Noah and his family pairs up all the animals. They bring them to the ark. The flood waters come from the sky and from the earth. They last for 40 days and 40 nights. Same time in the Enuma Elish. Same.
Oh, I mean, yeah. Again, goes
same
without
duration.
saying, there's 200 fucking flood.
I
mean, everyone has a flood story.
Yeah, and like
that's just.
And this goes to the Graham Hancock thing doing? Of when he's like, yeah, like certain people do have a flood myth, and like that's debunked by maybe there was a lot of rain and that area flooded, so they attribute it to a global flood. But all of these cultures have this flood myth, and it's like, what happened? Like, how did the flood waters rise? And I think that's where he goes into the. He doesn't directly relate the Bible, but maybe that's what the Younger Dryas was.
And it's also like, it's not just the fact that it's a flood. It's a flood among the other details where, again, like you have other shit matching up coming out of a flood.
Yeah, exactly.
Like a lot of the same family, like, you know, a God, you know, just the split of an Adam and an Eve. And
yeah, exactly. You have like the first people and then yeah, exactly. Them pairing up the animals always fucked me up because that's impossible. You can't just bring all these animals. That's when we go to the thing of maybe it is DNA banks, and that's what the ark was a.
He does say it's 7 pairs of each, and then that almost makes you wonder though, like if it is DNA, it's like, well, why would you need 7 pairs of certain animals and less pairs of other animals?
Diversity, maybe like
it's a better theory than there being.
No, it makes no fucking
sense.
No, that makes no fucking sense at all.
You wonder though if when he says animals, he just means like livestock or whatever, like.
Oh, and
farm animals or something.
But it never says that he repopulates the world with animals again.
That God doesn't?
I don't think so. Because that's what's interesting too. Because like, if that's the case, then all these animals would be coming out of Ararat. Like, the animals we have in America would have to come out of Ararat.
Right.
So it's like, unless
some animals can't fly or swim. You got to think about that.
You ever see a gorilla swim?
Okay, come on.
You can't see a gorilla swim.
Of all things.
Well, no, I mean, honestly, you ever think?
Of all
the big ass arms, man. You think they'd have, like,
good God,
they don't have legs big enough to kick? Think about it, man.
A racial slur.
Use your brain. We go into chapter 8. This is when the waters start receding. Describes the end of the flood. God sends winds. God sends a wind to recede the water. Had this thought, where does the water go?
Yeah, is there a drain?
Yeah, there's just a big plug at the bottom. It goes down into Agartha.
Yeah, where does the water go?
I don't know.
Ooh, is there something to be said for like it gets hotter? Whatever the thing was that made the flood would like evaporate it also?
Well, then it would just go in the sky and rain again. Get the water cycle.
Ooh.
You know what I mean?
Sure do.
Like the water, I think there's something like the water that ran, like there's a percentage of it that has like dinosaur piss in it. Has it just been reused?
I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Where did the water
go? I don't know.
Go?
Interesting. Yeah, another interesting point.
He did a wind and
one day we're gonna
knocked the water out of the firmament, the above water and the below water.
Well, exactly. Yeah, maybe it just recedes into the below waters.
Ooh.
That's interesting.
Tesla, you fuck.
You fucking asshole.
You son of a bitch.
I'm against flat Earth, but you tell me it's a realm. We got some possibilities. We're in it.
In the picture, it always shows lower waters.
I don't get it. What does that mean?
I mean,
that's space? Is that what that means? I don't know. Ark comes to rest on the mountains of Ararat. Or around the mountains of Ararat, who knows?
He released a raven and then a dove. And then he talks about the dove. And you don't hear what happened to the raven again.
The raven's left dead. Who knows what happened to the raven?
But that's what his whole thing is like, the dove came back, so there must not be anywhere to land. And it's like, did the raven come back?
Yeah. Well, no. Shut the fuck. Nobody cares about the raven. Wasn't supposed to come back.
Odd storytelling.
Yeah.
Is that like an Odin reference?
Yeah. Noah and his family leave the ark with the animals. Noah builds an altar and makes a sacrifice to God. That's when this goes the other thing. Every time they talk to God now, they have to build an altar.
Yes.
That's interesting. I don't know what that means.
Right.
Maybe
no, we've had this talk before. Yeah, like just moving forward, anytime anyone wants to talk to him, they go set up an altar, and you're like, this seems odd.
Yeah, like before they go, hey,
because it's a man amongst them.
Yeah, they come out and then and Leo comes out and he's like, "What's up?"
Someone's hiding in the trees,
up,
and you go, "Hey, get out here!
What y'all doing out here?
Get your ass out of them trees!"
Yeah, I tell you, get away from my fucking tree.
I know y'all let me eat my fruit.
I know y'all didn't eat my apples.
I
know y'all didn't eat my apples.
You know, you can do that because we're giving them the status of being the gods. So
yeah.
you can...
Well, yeah.
You can jazz it up a little.
You can obviously jazz it. You have to.
So how are you going to call it racist? I said you're the god. I'm the...
Yeah, we're nothing.
I'm the beast.
No, we got our... I'm sticking with the blackness taken away. We've been cursed. We're the line of
Well,
Cain.
it's definitely got to be more...
Or no, we're Esau.
Africa,
Esau.
Middle East. So, yeah.
Yeah.
I was reading... I had to stop because it was nonsensical, but I was reading for a quick second how Garden of Eden wasn't in either of those places. It was actually America, and Mississippi is the river that all
there's the Nile
rivers,
New Nile.
Yeah, exactly. So,
oh no, that's not Mississippi.
There was a great blog out there about that I got caught up in for a second.
I'm sure John Levy's in on that one.
I spent 5 minutes on it and was like, you can't give me one bit of evidence other than you saying, America's pretty good. It makes sense that it'd be here. Like,
it's land of the free, brother.
Yeah. He was pretty much saying shit like that.
Obviously, it's here. Chapter 9.
Well, after he built that altar, God said, and he said in his heart, I will not again curse the ground anymore for man's sake, for that the imagination of man's heart is evil from his youth. Neither will I again smite anyone. Neither again will I smite anymore everything living. So he says he's not going to fucking curse the ground so we can't till it, and he's not going to wipe us out again. He says in his heart.
Yeah.
He doesn't tell us that.
No. God has a heart. A man. Again. Not a spiritual entity.
And then, he just says that Noah and the fam come out with the animals, and he tells the animals.
That was his covenant with Noah. That was chapter 9, right? Where he says he's not going to do that shit anymore. The flood's not going to happen again. I'm not going to kill everybody.
Yes.
That was old me. This is new me. I'm not dealing with that.
New Anki.
Yeah, new Anki.
And just go out and repopulate the earth now.
The chapter also recounts Noah's drunkenness and subsequent cursing of Canaan.
Yes, I mean this is a classic.
This is the nakedness story.
This is a classic biblical
Yes,
tale.
I actually have a have you seen the depictions of this?
No, I don't know.
I found a beautiful painting that I think I'm going to actually get framed for you.
Oh, also God tells Noah, I think in that same covenant, whoever kills a man will have his own blood shed because God made man in his own image. So because you look like me, it'd be a sin to have you die. You're like too close to me to die. It's like disrespectful to me. What a vain God.
Dear God. This beautiful image.
That is what's described.
Yeah, look at Canaan. Look how he's depicted as a fat fuck. What are these things around their belly?
I don't know.
This is the rape story.
It is
This is the first rape story. This is this what old rabbis are debating this right now? If this is how this is happening.
This is true.
Yeah. So how we talked about this before, obviously, but for the sake of this clip, Noah passes out drunk.
Nothing wrong with that.
And he's naked.
Nothing wrong with that either.
I lost my notes. Can you?
Yes.
You outline.
Noah and his sons went forth from the ark. Ham is the father of Canaan. The three sons of Noah, Ham, Japheth, and Shem, spread over the entire earth. He's drunk. He was uncovered in his tent. Ham, the father of Canaan, saw the nakedness of his father and told his brethren, it's a sin. You can't gaze upon it. That's why they have to go grab this sheet.
Yeah.
So they put the sheet up by the shoulders. They walked backwards, and they covered his nakedness. And their faces were back, so they never saw him.
Yeah, this is a depiction of Ham. I'm sorry, not Canaan.
And then Noah awoke from his wine and knew what his younger son had done unto him. And he said, Cursed be Canaan, a servant of servants shall he be unto his brethren. And he said, Blessed be the Lord God of Shem, Canaan shall be his servant. God shall enlarge Japheth, and he shall dwell in the tents of Shem, and Canaan shall be his servant. So it's like, is that all because Ham saw him naked when he didn't even mean to, and he's cursing Canaan for that? Or did he wake up and was like, oh, my asshole's been blown out?
And that's not even us saying that.
That's literally the debate.
That's what rabbis are saying right now.
That's like,
there's a debate. Did Ham have sex with Noah,
his father,
in his drunkenness, or did he just see him naked?
Yeah.
Because later on,
and how fucked up is it to curse Canaan for that? You curse a guy's son to fuck him over, and it's like,
yeah,
just an innocent guy over here is like, oh,
my son, who did that?
So my dad's a fucking weirdo, and my life's ruined.
Yeah,
why don't you curse him, dumbass?
Yeah, so I that's interesting.
Yeah, do what you want with that story,
but that happened.
We're not even like literally. That's speculation. We're not even being crass.
No, we're not even being crazy right now.
Chapter 10 is a whole bunch of this person had this person as a kid.
Yeah. We have I don't have a ton of info on it. I'm watching a lot of documentaries trying to figure out the Turks, but
Japheth,
this is where it leads into the Khazars and Tartarian stuff. Japheth is...
Oh, people start changing race now.
This is... Yes, exactly. Yes. No. People start spreading out. This is where races start happening.
People become different shades and have different...
Exactly.
Morphologies, skull shape.
Skull sizes, yes. We'll get the calipers out in another episode. But...
See, if we went away with from the green screen, we could, like, hang up calipers. That'd be something.
One day. This isn't green screen isn't forever. We're going to have a nice, easy set one day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We got to start moving towards that. Calipers would be a nice set piece.
Yeah. But Japheth goes on to be like Genghis Khan, apparently comes from Japheth. The Mongols, the Turks, all these people in like this area that, I guess not Turkey, but like more northern up by like Russia and like Kazakhstan, all those places, Uzbek or
Tajikistan, Uzbekistan.
Turkestan, which is apparently Tartaria, Turkestan. Turkmenistan, I'm sorry, which is apparently fucking Tartaria. You can't even fucking go there.
And
but
Mongolia.
And Mongolia, that area. So like
the Gobi Desert.
This all leads into like the Khazars and the his branch leads into the to the Chinese dynasties and all this stuff.
Did you know that when you're in China and you want to go on a tour of the Great Wall, you have to leave China and go into the desert to get into, because the opening is on that side, not even just all the arrow stuff and like the little doors, like the beginning of it is on the other side.
Stop it. Are you being serious?
No,
that's insane.
That was from the Corsetti video. Like I said, if it was 5 minutes, it would have been good. But it was 15 minutes.
Yeah.
And I was like, come on.
But no, that whole line leads into the Khazars, the Tartarians, the Chinese empires, all that shit started. That's apparently comes from Japheth's line.
Because it says, this is the beginning of 10. Japheth, it goes into his whole line, and it goes, of these were the isles of the nations divided in their lands, everyone after his tongue, after their families, in their nations. So yeah, it's like, these people, Japheth has his own section now of like over yonder. Yeah.
Japheth also has a son, Gomer.
Yes.
Gomer's son is Ashkenazi.
Interesting.
Which is very interesting.
Something to keep an eye on.
So, something to keep an eye on. Yeah. That's all I'm saying.
Japheth also has a son called Magog, which is a DC character.
Really? People were saying Magog, and there was I saw another thing, and I I'm trying to find it in that 50-page fucking document I sent you where the font is this big and the entire, there's no margins. It's fucking wall-to-wall font. There's someone else called like Tartar, who apparently that's where Mongolia and Tartaria break into. That's where those sons. I found the one dude. I can't find the other dude, but it's in this fucking document somewhere.
Then we got Ham and goes into all his kids, one of them being Cush. Cush begat Nimrod, who began to be a mighty one in the earth.
A mighty one.
And a mighty hunter before God. The beginning of his kingdom was Babel.
Exactly.
Out of the land he went forth into Assyria and built Nineveh.
I do have something interesting about. I can't fucking remember.
I mean, God does tell him to like spread around the earth.
Yeah, but yeah. Then we go into the Tower of Babel. Oh, here, I'm sorry. Canaan obviously has the land of Canaan. Cush has the Ethiopia, ancient Ethiopia. Mizraim has ancient Egypt or Kemet, and then Put gets Libya. That's where those people go. Crazy.
And the race scientist in me really likes knowing all that.
You gotta know. I want to know where these people come from.
Nice map of seeing everyone.
I guess chapter 11 goes into the Tower of Babel and Abram's genealogy. Should we pick that up after next episode, or do you want to pick it up now?
If you want to get through Tower of Babel, then
we can pick up with Abram.
You know?
Yeah, okay, let's do that then. Yeah.
At this time, the world has a common language.
Yeah, everybody's speaking the same language. The story of the tower: the people attempt to build a tower to reach the heavens.
They baked bricks rather than using stone and used tar for mortar.
And then God then comes down and goes, "Holy shit, this tower's insane." Confuses their language and then spreads them throughout the earth.
Yeah,
that's what happens. That's the Tower of Babel. That's that story, and that's
it doesn't say that he knocked it down though.
Really?
Right?
I don't think so. No.
They wanted to build a city with a tower.
That's Nimrod's city?
Yeah. They wanted to build a city with a tower that would reach the heavens to make a name for themselves. Otherwise, they would be scattered across the entire earth. Which is weird, because we were just saying that they were doing what God said and moving around. So why would it be a big deal that they would be scattered across the earth? The Lord came down to see the city and tower that were being built. He thought that if people could already do this united by language, then nothing would be impossible to them. The Lord says, "Come, let us go down there and confuse their language so that they may not understand each other's speech." The Lord dispersed them from there and sent them all over the earth, and they didn't finish building the city. This place is called Babel.
So basically, it seems like...
You'd think you'd knock it down.
Yeah. Or maybe it's like they're going to be so confused because they can't communicate with each other. They're not going to fucking know how to use the tower. What if the tower's like...
Now it's a big middle finger.
Yeah, exactly.
He is
or maybe the tower is just a metaphor and there was no tower, and it was a metaphor for humanity has the ability to come together and everybody works together.
We're on the same page.
If it's like the power in numbers thing. It's like if they can all work together, they can achieve our status. So it's like we can't have them doing that. We got to remain gods among them.
And if you go back to the Gnosticism thing, where the demiurge came down and made everybody, and bits of heaven had come down with him and were trapped in us, and Jesus is someone who came down from heaven to try to get us to like awaken, and that's why you get the Jesus Buddha comparisons. That in particular is something that would like being united by language would be helpful with. You know what I'm saying? Does 100%. That make sense?
Yeah, no, because that's like what they confuses the language, and we can't communicate with each other. It's like we can't we'll never be able to work together because you have to deal with this translator talks to that one. It's like the United Nations when everybody's got the fucking headphones on and they're all talking. Maybe like how I say something in my language comes off rude in your language, and like cultural differences.
Or there's not a one-to-one translation, so you have to get like the next best thing.
Because we talk about that with like how like certain words exist in other like places.
France has a word for when you drive by a pit that you could kill yourself in, and calling of the void.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, they have a word for that. Or like, I think in German there's a word for the day after.
Right.
There's like today. There's like today, tomorrow, and then Hackerschmitzel. There's that word, and so yeah, it's like maybe some words don't play out, and like we'll never be able to work together.
And especially if like you have a Jesus guy, I know he's not supposed to be around yet, but just maybe they're thinking. They know someone's going to come down eventually to try to put a stop to shit.
And we'll dive into the Roman theory with that also, but keep going.
But whatever Christ figure has come down, or Buddha, or is trying to fix shit, like, now he has that to contend with too, a language barrier. Like, he couldn't just come down and learn one language real quick and get everybody. Now, every fucking new land he gets into, he has to figure shit out.
Which this is where, like, you always hear like one world government, one world this, one, and it's fucking terrifying from what like these bureaucrats and these people will do with that power. In general, that's a perfect world. If we're all
but it's not one world government. It'd be one world like culture or something.
Exactly. Where it's like
one world government's like, you can all do your own language. Stay rich and poor and black and white and but like you all answer to me.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
You'll get jailed in the same place.
Yeah. But next episode, we're going to dip into Abram. Speedrun his story. He's fine. That's...
Yeah.
We're going to dip a little bit into 17. Circumcision gets big. That's a big thing. That's another covenant that God needs.
It's an intense one. Anyone saying it's for, like, cleanliness was just crazy.
Insane. No. That makes... I mean, maybe. I don't know.
I think that's been disproven. I think they said that for a while to like justify doing some like ancient Bible shit because it's doctors and stuff.
Yeah.
But it's at no point is it like, oh, you're going to want to cut that part of your dick. I fucked up in the design of your body.
My bad.
You're going to want to chop that off. It gets gross. It's 1,000% him being like, prove to me you fucking love me. And they have to be like, I swear you're the only God I care about. I don't care about none of the other fucking gods. I'll cut my fucking dick off right now.
Yeah. And we're going to get into that. That's fun.
We got the rape story out of the way. We can do circumcision.
Glad we got the rape story out of the way. It's a heavy one. Yeah. All right. Hour and 34 minutes. It was good. We'll pick up with Abram. All right. Peace out, fuckers.